Have you ever spent an hour writing something only to have someone solve it in 2 minutes? I have. And it's one of the reasons I believe some of our biggest business breakthroughs don't happen when we're sitting alone at our computers. They happen when we talk to someone. When you're the person running your business, it's really hard to see it clearly. You're inside the business every single day. You know every offer, every service, every little thing you're trying to communicate. So you start tweaking. You rewrite the headline, then you rewrite it again. You change the wording. For me, it's the about page in my school community. You question whether you're talking about the right thing, and eventually you're so close to it that you can't actually see what somebody else sees. For example, speaking of my about page on my school community, I'm all about people buy from people, getting back to the relationships, the human relationships. And I had an AI generated image as my first thumbnail. So I made a simple switch, moved it so that it was me as a video because I'm the real person. And then I had some AI generated images after that. So I am guilty of this myself. And it's very easy to start thinking, what am I missing? And then it was just in a conversation like for this, when you start talking about it and they see it and they'll see something incredibly simple, just like, this person was like, I'd love to see your face first because it kind of aligns with your words. Other than that, it's good. And that's when I thought, oh, of course. So I made that simple change, and it just took someone from the outside because we can be too close to it. And that's actually how a lot of my own business has evolved. In addition to the about page, I didn't sit in a room and magically come up with relationship marketing as my answer. I am traditionally an SEO content writer. But what I noticed was whenever I was working with clients, I would say, I'll take care of the marketing, the posting, but you take care of the relationship part of it. You leave comments, you network, work the room, whether it's in person or online in spaces where your communities are. And it was listening to people through coffee chats and talking to my clients and other business owners that I realized they were asking me questions like, well, how do I do that? What do I say? What if we're talking about cats? Like, how do I bring that back to, kind of vet if they're even a possible, I don't know, maybe not only for sales, but a possible relationship that I want to continue on a deeper level because we have opportunities. We could be each other's word of mouth referral, part of our system, or maybe guest on each other's podcast or whatever that could be. Well, because I asked those questions, I eventually started to see the patterns that I wouldn't have seen sitting by myself at my desk, just thinking harder. And that was why and how I built my school community. It's a safe place where people can practice the habits of showing up every day, answer simple questions that help them get visibility, practice interacting with others in comments. And if you can't take an aware community to a coffee chat or whatever it is you're trying to, then you're not going to be able to do that like in the wild. So people started going there. And then when they started saying, okay, I really like this, but how do I actually do this consistently? And like, I'm filling the top of my funnel, but I'm not following up with, like, I'm having 20 meaningful conversations a day. That's 100 a week, 400 a month. Like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do to follow up with them? Because I don't want to have all this work just to fill the top of the funnel, or I'm having all these coffee chats or sales calls or whatever they are. I don't want to lose a thread. So that's when I decided to create my premium offer in school, the Growth Lab, where, okay, I'm going to show you the system. It's a two-pronged system. One, what are the actions that you can control when you sit intentionally at your desk to work the room, right? To network, to get some leads, to fill that. And then how are you going to follow up with those people who you have already met with? So just listening to people gave me that clarity, and I didn't have to come up with the perfect answer myself. They told me. They didn't know they were telling me, but they told me, and I went and I built it. And I think this is a trap for business owners. We are assuming that if we're stuck, we just need to think harder and it's all on us. Especially if you're a solopreneur like I am. Yeah, you can have ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever AI tool of the week you're using, but you need to still have some critical thinking to take that conversation further. And it is a good thought partner to help us get out of our heads. But as I said, at the crux of it, people are buying from people. Let them tell you what their problem is and then create your product or service around that. And other people can see things or have struggles with things that you might not even realize that you have that as a gift. I recall when I first started trying to vet this idea, I had had many conversations with someone, a friend, Kate, who told me, you are very good, Elizabeth, at networking. Like, not a lot of people can actually fill their calendar with coffee chats when they decide that they're going to go into the comments. And I was like, oh, really? So I didn't even see my own gift that I was able to do that, and that I had the systems to follow up and follow through. And when I did have an ask, I could ask my word of mouth community, because I get constant referrals now. And it is a longer game, but I didn't realize I was doing it. So it took her to say that to me, to plant the seed. And that's when I started listening. And I'm like, oh, other people are actually telling me this as well. And I would have people who I was in masterminds with or other programs, and they'd say, hey, can I get your thoughts? I know that we're supposed to do this activity, but you seem to really understand it. Can you explain it to me? So I'm like, okay, this is something I could get paid for. So I want you to start listening to opportunities that you can grow services or products around and enhance your business for what the market has a gap for, what they're asking for. So as I'm saying, good relationships don't just create referrals and opportunities or sales. They create clarity. Now it's time for some reflection. I'd like for you to think about one thing that you're stuck in your business. Maybe it's your homepage or your offer. It could be a piece of content, or maybe you can't figure out how to explain what you do. Don't spend another 3 hours looking at it. Find one person that you trust and ask them one specific question about it. Not, what do you think about my business? That's way too broad. Instead, you're going to go really specific and ask them, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear this offer? Or does this make sense to you? For me, my question is, when you read this offer or my about page, as I mentioned, that has been the bane of my existence. But when you read my school about page, what is it that I could change that could make it a hell yeah? Like, what would you need to know? What information would need to be there for it to be a hell yeah? And for this person that I mentioned at the beginning of this video, it was just, I want to see you. I don't want to see an AI version of you because that's misaligned with what you're trying to tell me. It was such an easy switch for me too. And then listen. Don't defend it. Don't explain it. Just listen. Because sometimes the breakthrough that you're looking for is sitting inside a 5-minute conversation. And that was a 5-minute conversation when she told me that. And now I've got to test it. Now I got to leave it be and see what the reaction is. So I want to have you have that same kind of positive response. So just remember, you don't have to figure everything out by yourself. Better conversations create a better business, your own better business. And So this week, instead of thinking harder, talk to someone. And if you're looking for a place where you can practice those conversations, get feedback, and build relationships with other business owners, come join us inside my school community. It's called the Marketing Momentum Collective. We'd love to see you on the inside. And see you in the next video.